Let's look at some typical problems with works cited. I have works cited down here at the end of my body paragraphs. This is an assignment where I requested just body paragraphs from students. So if you are turning in the final revision of an essay and you have your introduction and body and conclusion, you definitely want to format your works cited the way you would if you were turning in a paper copy physically of the essay. When you go to a four-year school, you will definitely be doing that, or you may turn it in online still. However, I want you to be prepared. So, works cited, centered, good. However, it should not be on the same page with the rest of the essay. So, to fix that, go to Insert, go to Page Break at the top left, and then you have works cited here. Now, you also need to capitalize works cited because anytime you write a title, you should capitalize all the major words of the title, and this is the title of your works cited page. Another problem I see is with this one kind of went crazy. The margin is not the 1-inch margin that's standard for documents. So let's backspace that. Now it just got rid of my hanging indent, which always makes students sad, but we can fix it. Now the margin is right, but if I go here and try to reset the hanging indent, it will go back to where I had it. The margin will go over. I can show you that really quickly if you like. If I go to hanging indent, watch it not do it now, but anyway. So it fixed it. So it made a liar out of me. Anyway, so hopefully that'll work. If that didn't work, the trick that I tend to use, if I have a hanging indent already established with my other source that comes before this one, then I just backspace to make it part of that previous source, and then I hit enter, and the hanging indent is nicely formatted for me already. Make sure your sources are in alphabetical order. S comes before T, so I will put this one first. Okay, so S, T, and W, that works. Notice that any title of an article should be in quotation marks, but you should never have a title in both quotation marks and in italics. So get rid of the italics. Might have to click it twice, I did. The magazine or website where you found this article, the title of that website, magazine, or journal should be in italics, but never in italics and quotation marks. So article titles go in quotation marks, journal titles, website titles, magazine titles, newspaper titles, they go in italics. If you see a title that says something something news, then you'll know that should be in italics. The Atlantic is a magazine or journal. It's also a website, so make sure it is in italics. Again, the article title should not be in italics. And let's see, this one is a little strange. I'm going to link to the video I did on using EasyBib for formatting your works cited. You're not going to have these slashes anywhere. So if you have used a source that's not from AVL, you've used another online source, watch my video on EasyBib and I will that will help you format correctly. So this should be last name, comma, first, in this case middle name, too, of the author, period, article title, period. Then not in link formatting, you should have, this should be probably, will look like this. The Santa Fe New Mexican, which is the name of a newspaper, it sounds like. So that is where the article was found, so that's what we need to use. If I were to just manually fix this the best I could, I would definitely fix the I can't remember what the date was. Let's just pretend, or let's go back and look. All right, so it's 27/12. So for MLA format for dates, you need to do this. I don't remember the year exactly, but anyway, that would be the correct way to format the date. You'll do it in your heading just like that as well. So that applies even in the works cited. Now, if you're using a date in your essay, like if you said March 31st, 2002 was a wonderful day, you don't have to format it this way, okay? But when you are citing a source or doing your heading for your essay, you do have to do it that way. One thing that is missing is the URL. So wherever the source came from, you should copy the address bar and paste that link here. Okay, so make sure that that URL is here. I don't mind if you leave the URL part in link formatting, but the student had like the Santa Fe, New Mexican was in a link format. Don't do that. Make sure all of those things are done traditionally following MLA format style. These are in alphabetical order. That's good. Checking the in-text citations, the parenthetical citations should match whatever's first for the sources. So I see a parenthetical citation here, but I don't see a works cited, a source that starts with this. That means that's wrong. So let's look. Do I have an article title that says this? Starts with when. Okay, so it's this one. All right. So in my parenthetical citation, I should have this person's last name. And the page number, if I have access to page numbers for this article title. It doesn't appear that I have access to oh, it's just one page. It says page 12. So that gives me a clue. I could put the author's last name and 12 for page 12. Using quote burger colors, a nice yellow highlight shows that's the mustard. When I introduce the source, if I use the name of someone to introduce the quotation, then, and I was showing in another video how to take what's written here in the tag and put it at the beginning of your quotation so it doesn't appear that you are using a dropped quotation. A dropped quotation is one that starts with quotation marks. So if you need to take out that part and start with the information that will tell me who actually said these words, that's great. Do it that way. That's best. Now, this author is not this person. The names are different. So how do I reflect that this person appeared in this article? The way to do that is just to put the abbreviation for quoted and then in, and then I have the last name of the person that takes me exactly to the first thing in the works cited for that source. All right, another problem we have here is that the paragraph ends with a quotation, which you never want to do. You always want to do the green part following the rules of the quote burger formatting. The green is where you react to or explain or comment on what this person has said. I messed up our works cited thing there. Okay, so use the green part to comment on, comment or explain. I'm not sure why my formatting went all crazy. That's going to be green. It's not going to be highlighted. That will be your green part. And then you're going to have a reaction to what you have quoted in the green section, followed by a connection to the thesis. And then how does this help prove my thesis? That's what you can ask yourself at the end. You can also ask, so what? Why does this matter? So any of these questions can help you figure out, what do I need to say at the very end of my paragraph? These questions help you know how to connect or how to tell the reader something that will connect to the main idea sentence or to your thesis, your argument that you're making. Now, I don't have a thesis written here because I did not ask for the introductory paragraph. So introductions start with a hook, then give some background or context to make the argument make sense, and then end with the thesis. So I always kind of reach up here thinking that the thesis is up there, and it would be if I had an introductory paragraph. Now, for the concluding paragraph, you start that paragraph with the thesis stated in a new way. And I don't need any of my introduction or conclusion to be in quote burger colors because those, I'm not going to use any quotations. So no quotations, no quote burger colors. So thesis in a new way, then review the main points. I'm not sure why I keep being highlighted here. And then end with a connection back to the hook or a big so what. So you want to either connect back to the hook to bring it full circle or answer so what in a way that makes readers understand why this argument, your point in the argument, matters to their lives. All right, so I have so what in quotation marks just to distinguish that that question mark is there to answer the so what part. And one more thing, speaking of question marks, notice that this quotation ends with a question mark. In the case where you have a question that you're quoting, go ahead and keep the quotation mark there, close quotation, then put a period after the parenthetical citation, as the student has done. If you have a quotation that ends with a period or a comma, then as we have up here, then finish the quotation with quotation marks, then put the parenthetical citation, and then the period only at the end of the parenthetical citation. If you don't have a parenthetical citation, because you have introduced the quotation using what's first in the works cited, as this student has done here, then just put the period at the end of the quotation and close with quotation marks after the period. Do not add a period after the quotation marks. So you don't want period, quotation marks, period. Same here, you don't want period, quotation marks, parenthetical citation, period, because you don't want two periods ever in your sentences, okay? The exception to the rule is the question mark scenario, or if you have an exclamation point that ends your quotation, then you can leave those special pieces of punctuation, not a comma, not a period, only the question mark and exclamation point. Then put a period after the parenthetical citation. If this one ended with a question mark, we still would just leave it a question and not add an extra. I'm not sure why we have special font here. Anyway, so do double check all of your fonts. If you, especially if you have copied and pasted anything, which we all do, it helps get the content in there, but double check. One way to double check all of your font is to hold down Control and hit A. That will highlight everything in your essay. And then you can just go ahead and check for, sometimes I do a crazy font and then back to Times New Roman. Sometimes if I don't do that, it'll leave things in a weird way. I did notice by doing that, I have single spacing right here. Just to make sure that my spacing is okay too, I'm going to leave everything highlighted. I'm going to go back to my spacing, which I can fix here. It's over on the left in the 3 dots if you're using online Word, but I can also fix spacing here. So I'll click 2.0 and that fixed my spacing there. You'll notice my works cited went away because remember I did the insert page break thing and my works cited is the last page as it should be. Now to include page numbers, oh, notice my font changed to 11 point. So I'm going to hit Control